Hey guys, welcome if you're new. This is The Inner Gaze. I'm Allie, and I know it has been a while since I've popped on here to do a video. I wanted to catch you guys up on where I have been for the last month and a half, 2 months, and see how you all are doing. It's been a wild ride. The last 2 months have just been a rocket ship for me personally, and since basically the summer solstice on the 21st of June, and a little bit before that, and then the eclipses that have happened in July, it's just been one thing after another, just like lining up, small purges here and there, and just higher beams of energy and higher frequencies coming in. So I went on a trip to Peru. A wonderful, wonderful journey with a great shaman. His name is Puma, and his team of Puma Adventures tour team, and they were just incredible. And I went with 11 other incredible women, and it was a trip to remember. I felt called to go to Peru maybe around last year. The seed was kind of planted in my awareness, and at the time I wasn't ready. And then right after the equinox this year, I felt this calling to go somewhere, and I didn't know where, and then it just popped in my head. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, my friend organizes these trips to Peru. So without hesitation, I went. And I think that's something that everyone needs to embrace if they have this very strong urge to do something, to call someone, to act on something. Follow that urge, because that's your guidance system. And if you can afford it, or even if you can sort of afford it and like you're not totally sure, just in a way, sometimes you just have to trust that whatever is meant for you is calling you, and that it will be granted to you, and abundance will come your way. So I felt this huge call to go back to Peru. And what I ended up doing in Peru, and I don't want to make this whole video just about Peru or ceremony or plant ceremony, ayahuasca or San Pedro, but I will mention just really quickly, I did partake in some San Pedro ceremonies, which is cactus. It's the grandfather. It's like a mescaline / peyote. And I did partake in an ayahuasca ceremony. So I might do an entirely other video if you guys are curious about ayahuasca, but I will say that there is no universal experience. Like, I kind of wish I didn't watch a lot of ayahuasca journey videos before going, because the expectations are kind of moot points, because every single person's going to have a very different experience with ayahuasca depending on what you need at that moment from the mother, and she's going to give it to you. What I got was very physical, like hardcore physical. If you have stuff to release, which I did, I had a lot of womb clearing that needed to happen, it will come out of you whatever way possible. So there was a lot of purging there, but I will say that back in Peru, what I needed to do was reunite with a past life there on Machu Picchu and do some soul retrieval, which I did. And when I got back, I had a lot of integration to do. So that's kind of why I haven't been called to make videos or do a lot of healing work in general. I haven't been speaking a lot of light language. I haven't been meeting with many clients. It's been more just like my 3D work and integrating and bringing this awareness, this consciousness into my 3D reality in a way that I haven't done before. And I've been talking about the Ascension for about a year and some change now with all of you, and talking about the energies and talking about how to get through things and how to conceptualize different things. And now I feel much more grounded and stable. And it's almost like we now have permission to sort of carry out our tasks in a different way. And it's time to embrace that. So it's really, really good news. And so I wanted to come back on here because it's been a while, and I was waiting for the nudge, and I got the nudge, so here I am. So, good. Hey, I've been nudged. So a lot of you guys must be going through a lot at this moment in time. We are being pushed. It's like full throttle. I mean, it's basically rocket ship time. Depending on where you're at in the ascension, and there's no hierarchy at all. There's no you're higher or lower depending on what your vibration. We're always fluctuating in vibration, and where you are today in this moment is exactly where you need to be. We are in the process of clearing out ancient wounds and imbalances in the masculine and feminine energies, and those woundings have caused so many things to happen in our society and in our reality that have been really painful. And now, as we go through these things, it's just our job, it's our duty to acknowledge ourselves with respect when we are triggered and when we do have woundings come up for us to review and sit with and clear and feel. Once you enter the heart space, which is where we're headed into a place where the high heart is the human brain, and the mind is going to be working in harmony with that heart space. The mind, we used to think, was the end all be all. Like, we thought our consciousness resided in the mind. Our mind made decisions. Our mind planned things. The inner voice in our head felt like truth. But now, as we move into the heart and we feel our truth, we're feeling our truth, we're feeling our connections with each other, and we're feeling our connection with Source. And as we move into those places, we're actually uncovering deep, uncharted feelings that we haven't necessarily allowed ourselves to feel. And those can be jarring at first, and it can be alarming to feel those deep things that we haven't allowed ourselves to feel, but it's so beautiful, and it's so important that we allow ourselves to keep on opening and keep going. As hard as it may seem, as much as we might feel like, oh my gosh, where's this, what's next? You know, there's been so many twists and turns and things I wasn't anticipating, and I just wish I could like know what the hell is happening. Just trust, just keep going. There have been so many good omens lately for just so many signs, so many synchronicities, so many quadruple digit numbers and rainbows and butterflies and aliveness. In just 1 second, you can change your vibration. You can allow yourself to be present and fully in that moment, and you can connect with Mother Nature, and you can ground yourself, and you can actually just decide in that moment, I'm going to be love in this exact moment. And that's part of what we're learning how to do. We're learning how to be love and see one another through our higher perspective, through a higher lens of consciousness. So I want everybody to allow themselves to feel what it is like to be in that higher heart, that higher state of consciousness that you have access to in this moment. I want you to feel like what it's like to be the soul. Be the mother, father, soul that has loved you for all of eternity. And be the part that's guiding the human vessel through this beautiful life. Just allow yourself 1 second to just be and connect. And that feeling of peace that you get it's something that we need to remind ourselves over and over and over again. Jump back into the moment, jump back into this now, because in this moment now, there is nothing that has happened to you in the past that needs to make you feel pain, and there's nothing that you need to worry about in the future. Right now is exactly everything So it's important that we align ourselves in the moments when we can. And when we have the conscious awareness to do it, just take a breath and drop into the now space and just connect. And it's okay. And then after that, you can go into whatever it is that you were doing before and whatever worries you need to. But whenever you have the conscious awareness to do it, try to drop into the now as much as possible. So, yeah, I mean, we've had just like crazy amounts of energies coming in, and I don't even know. I have like, it's just been so much magic. I have noticed that people around me have been opening up and expanding their consciousness as well. Maybe not everyone is aware that they're on an ascension path or that there is a great awakening happening just yet, but you can tell, I mean, it's real that society's perception and how we treat each other is changing ever so slowly over time. Like, it's really happening. So everyone here who's been on this journey for however long, you guys have been through so much, and it's not in vain. It's not in vain. It's doing so much for our collective, for the communities that we're all part of, and for our ancestral lineage that we all came independently to plant seeds and change in this time. Remember that. This is the greatest time to be alive. There's no doubt that this right now is the place to be. There's never ever been a time in history where this much change is happening this quickly. So enjoy it. Enjoy it. It can be confusing because I've noticed that a lot of, other readers out there or people you might have been following for a while suddenly have shifted their perspective on certain things, and that's okay. That's okay. There's nothing to fear because everyone is exactly where they need to be at that moment in time, and there's no wrong way to ascend. There's no wrong way. Every single individual has their roadmap, and it is unique to you. It is unique. It is necessary for the collective to have these different swim lanes, to have these different perspectives. That's why we have these individual bodies, because if we were just one blob of consciousness observing itself all the time, it would be really impossible to learn and to gain all these different understandings. And that's why it's beautiful that we're in these separate bodies. Yet at the same time, having that realization that we all are one, that we all are part of the same energetic fabric that creation manifests from. We are all consciousness. Yeah, of course. Yet we also have differences on purpose, and it's beautiful. So again, like, if you are watching a lot of different YouTube videos and suddenly someone that you've been following really closely changes their perspective and it doesn't align anymore, it's not the end of the world. It just means that perhaps the streams are kind of going in different ways, and that's okay. And who knows, maybe the streams will come back together again. But it's perfect the way it is. So anyway, I just wanted to get on and kind of give you guys an update. I know this video in and of itself probably wasn't the most informative video. I think as I speak more and do a few more of these, I'll have more healing come through. Something that did happen in Peru, and I'm not sure when this is going to start integrating, is when I was on ayahuasca, something did happen to me where I began toning. So it hasn't happened to me since then, since the medicine, but it's, I guess, another form of light language. It's another form of resonance. So if it does happen on here, I just wanted to kind of put that out there because, or maybe I'll set the intention that if I do start toning these long, long tones, sounds, it is similar to light language, and I can program it to integrate with the different higher selves as it's supposed to. So when that does come through, Yay. I don't know when that's going to happen. But anyway, thank you so much for hopping on today. I just wanted to say thank you, and thank you for your patience, and I will be making more soon. Thanks. Bye.